Tonight, what happens next at Arion? Will the green steel plan work down under? And could another connection to the east coast help shore up SA's power supply?
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening, but first tonight, Zen Energy says it may have to reconsider its plans to build battery storage systems outside of Port Augusta after Tesla won the tender to build the world's largest battery storage system near Jamestown last week. Zen Energy fears there may not be enough room in the energy market for both.
Plans to build a battery storage system in Port Augusta may be shelved after Zen Energy says there may be no room in the market after a similar project has been announced for Jamestown.
I can't be sure that we'll have all the answers then, but we'll have a pretty good idea within 3 weeks whether the opportunity is still there.
Port Augusta's mayor says he remains hopeful.
It's obviously disappointing. I mean, Zen haven't absolutely confirmed that it may not happen. And we certainly support Zen Energy and their project.
Zen Energy's chairman Ross Garneau says if the company is to continue, it would be for the long term.
Let's just say that I'm hopeful, but we have to do a lot of complicated arithmetic before we can be sure.
If Zen does shelve their Port Augusta project, Mayor Johnson says it may indicate a bigger need for building the long campaigned for solar thermal project.
But bearing in mind, getting solar thermal also then allows a lot of those feed-off industries, such as batteries, to also partner up and support a solar thermal project as well.
Mr Garneau says the company plans to make their final decision in the coming few weeks. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
As the dust settles on Liberty House's purchase of Arium, attention is being turned to what the wireless steelworks will look like under new ownership. The Premier says renewable energy will play a big role in both powering the steelworks and the whole Eyre Peninsula.
Green steel is a cornerstone of Liberty House's British business, focusing on recycling steel products and renewable energy.
Reinvigorating the supply chain, championing the development of new sustainable power sources, generating tens of thousands of new skill jobs.
Already it's been confirmed Liberty will build a power station at the wireless steelworks, using waste gases created in the steelmaking process to power the plant. The company is also exploring other options, including a potential hydropower operation. It's a model the Premier says he's supportive of.
It makes sense for the steelworks to better utilise their waste gases so that they can have a cogeneration opportunity.
And expect the power generation to expand beyond keeping the steelworks functioning, as the state searches for answers to bolster its fragile baseload electricity supply. The Premier says the steelworks could be the building blocks of a secure energy future for the whole region.
If it's large enough to be used to secure the energy needs of the whole Eyre Peninsula. So there are lots of opportunities and spillover benefit.
And access to the global steel market is also presenting itself as an opportunity for both our steel products and jobs.
He sees a plant here which is under utilised. So it has all this spare capacity. It's not operating at its maximum.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill's MP Kevin Humphries is pushing the potential for an interconnector to be built near Broken Hill to give more energy security to South Australia. The member for Barwon says a second interconnector for SA allows both states to tap into energy sources like wind and solar and supply more power into the grid.
A potential solution to South Australia's power problems.
That we look at a second interconnector into northern South Australia, and that's via Western New South Wales.
Last year, South Australia was left in the dark due to an outage affecting the state's only interconnector through Victoria. The outage exposed SA's power instability and revealed the potential for a second interconnector to come through the Broken Hill region. Mr Humphries says a second interconnector would allow both states to tap into solar and wind projects.
There is the potential to upgrade the Riverina interconnector into South Australia, but again we don't pick up on all the opportunities in Central West, Western New South Wales and Northern South Australia that gives both states the ability to trade and supply power into the grid.
He also said there is a chance to hook up a large gas field in Narrabri in the northeast of New South Wales to operate a peak gas power station.
So that not only does it give more security to New South Wales potentially over time, but also to South Australia. But basically we've just got to take the borders out of a number of issues and keep the discussion going.
Mr Humphrey says there is a good dialogue between the states and hopes to have a full plan on the table by the end of the year. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
More than 100 surfers in Victor Harbour protested the Swim with the Tuna enclosure as it arrived at its new Encounter Bay home after moving from Port Lincoln. Local residents have raised concerns that the tuna pen would lead to an increased number of sharks in the area. The aquarium will be located 300 metres from the town's jetty, new management insisting it won't affect residents after 7 years in Port Lincoln without incident. The aquarium will be secured in the coming weeks with hopes to be fully operational by the end of the month. Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news. Local input invited on plans for a kangaroo cull on the EP. The details ahead. Welcome back. The state government has invited feedback on its updated kangaroo management plan. The draft aims to control populations of the common kangaroo species which impact much of the state's pastoral areas, including the Eyre Peninsula and the Mid-North.
They may be a symbol of our national identity, but kangaroos are also a favourite in many Australian kitchens. Their abundance in the wildlife has led to management plans allowing commercial harvesting on properties across the region.
Commercial harvesting provides land managers with the opportunity to reduce kangaroos in high numbers to a more sustainable level.
Kangaroo populations are largely reliant on weather conditions. Good seasonal conditions over the last 3 years has led to overpopulation in pastoral areas. But with dry conditions this winter, farmers are welcoming the new plan.
Kangaroos compete with sheep and cattle for edible plants and can therefore reduce productivity. If we didn't have a plan and are a protected species, then we wouldn't be able to control their populations at all.
Past kangaroo plans have been met with some pushback. Animal welfare groups concerned culling could lead to environmental changes, but specific surveys and quotas set by the state government means that'll be prevented.
If you don't have any regulation, then you can actually lead to species being sort of persecuted into extinction.
The Department of Environment now welcoming public feedback on the updated plan during a 3-month consultation.
To ensure that we continue to manage our three most abundant kangaroo species in a humane and sustainable way, and it does this by allowing for commercial harvesting by accredited professional shooters.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The Wargrave section at the Port Pirie Cemetery has a new look with restoration works on the headstones now complete. Council now has plans to upgrade the entrance to the section to give the respect that's deserved to those who fell at war.
The Wargrave section at the cemetery is one of few in South Australia, and locals very passionate about the significance of the memorial called upon the council to upgrade the section and turn it into a peaceful resting place for soldiers. Headstones were restored and upgraded, with maintenance procedures in place to ensure the area remains a respectful place.
So the plinths, or the concrete plinths, were subsiding and falling into the ground, and it wasn't a very good look.
Issues with carpet weed is delaying the growth process of the lawn which surrounds the memorial.
We're hoping that by spring this year that this area will look really lovely.
And as a part of the cemetery's master plan, further upgrades to the area will be completed to create a peaceful area for visitors to pay tribute to those who fell at war.
We've removed some bottle brush trees that were overgrown, and we're replacing them with some pencil pines, and there'll be some white pebbles and white chain fencing to really give the Wargrave section a lovely entrance.
And seating areas will also be installed to the Wargrave section. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
The town of Melrose is set to receive an all-terrain wheelchair after receiving a grant under the Fund My Idea program. Jeff Brock was in town today and says the $14,000 grant means those of all abilities will be able to explore trails in the Flinders Ranges.
With many areas inaccessible for wheelchair users, those in the Flinders Ranges have received funding to purchase an all-terrain wheelchair.
With an electric assist motor like what we're going to put into it, it can go just about anywhere. So people will be able to come up to the top of Mount Remarkable and the tougher trails around here without any problem at all.
Regional Development Minister Jeff Brock was in Melrose today to deliver the grant.
Sometimes we forget We can all walk, we can do things like that, but there are less people that maybe not have the mobility, and they miss out. So it's about, this is going to give them the opportunity to actually walk some of these beautiful trails in the Mount Remarkable area.
Very limited to where we can take them, but with this wheelchair we could get them back where they used to grow up. We've got a few farmers that can't get in to check out their crops.
The group also visiting a local initiative to renovate a crumbling brewery.
It's absolutely brilliant here in Melrose, and to see this behind me, this transformation is an opportunity for a microbrewery here, and the Jacket Brewery is absolutely, I think it's going to be one of the greatest things that's happened in this region for a long, long time.
The Mount Remarkable District Mayor says the funding for the wheelchair is the result of ministers visiting the region firsthand.
Like I said, when they see what we're talking about, there's more likely we'll get the funding. So there's things going on, starting to happen, you know, more and more, but we're certainly only in the early stages yet. So.
The wheelchair will be ready to use in March next year. In Melrose, Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
The New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro says there's plenty of funding options available for Broken Hill out of the state budget. The city has taken advantage of these options in the past, with one major redevelopment funded by a state government program.
A big figure sum, and it's all for regional New South Wales.
A $1.3 billion, that's with the B, a $1 billion fund for regional New South Wales to build amenities, to build the sporting infrastructure, the cultural infrastructure.
The Deputy Premier says government funding programs are usually round-based, and it soon becomes a beauty contest between cities and towns to get their projects up.
What we've done is allocate a certain amount of funding right across all local government areas, making sure that all parts of the state get their fair share.
This now means Broken Hill has been guaranteed over $750,000 in funding this year, and again next year through the Stronger Communities Fund.
Millions of dollars going back into local amenities. The difference again, we want the community at the heart of deciding what projects they want built in their community.
And there's more money available for the Resources for Regions Fund.
So there's another $50 million for those communities affected by mining. So once again, Broken Hill up for another its share of the $50 million.
Broken Hill has done well for itself in the past through Resources for Regions. The $5.1 million Civic Centre redevelopment, a product of the fund. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. When we return after the break, school's out. Holiday plans to help bored youngsters in Port Lincoln. The details ahead. Welcome back. $220,000 will be invested in 4 Whyalla parks thanks to a joint initiative between the state government and the Whyalla Council. Parks at the Foreshore, Field Street, Point Lowly and Travellers Street will receive the funds to rejuvenate the areas. 27 spaces across the state have received $7 million in support through the Department of Planning's Open Space and Place Fund. The Mayor says it will make a big difference to the areas by making them more family-friendly.
It's really important for us to have a community that we can enjoy, outdoor activities, and this funding will be really good to put towards that.
Making sure you've got high quality public spaces is absolutely crucial, and that's why we're investing together with Council in this area.
Well, last week police conducted a number of searches across properties in Port Pirie and nearby towns targeting illegal drugs. The results saw 3 people arrested for a variety of offences with over 2 kilograms of cannabis seized.
Local patrols and detectives used the assistance of police drug dogs to help with searches on Thursday and Friday last week. 3 houses in Port Pirie were searched on Thursday, with officers allegedly finding cannabis, amphetamines, fireworks and items linked to dealing drugs.
Police made 3 arrests for a variety of offences, including cultivating cannabis and possessing prescribed equipment.
On Friday, police searched another nearby property where they reportedly found cannabis plants and over $5,000 in cash, believed to be the proceeds of trafficking the drug. Police say the occupants of the house also manipulated the electricity supply.
4 properties were targeted, with police locating over 2 kilos of dried cannabis and 8 mature cannabis plants.
On Friday night, a drug dog was used to screen people at 4 hotels across Port Pirie. Just 3 people were fined for possession of cannabis, while 1 man was reported for carrying a weapon in a car park of one of the hotels.
Local police will continue to focus on identifying anybody involved in the growing, selling and use of illegal drugs in Port Pirie. and the public is urged to contact Crime Stoppers with any information. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
The Royal Flying Doctors Service is $37,000 better off thanks to the generosity of Whyalla residents. The local support group raised that figure in the last financial year with the cheque handed over at a presentation last night. Funds are predominantly raised through sausage sizzles and raffle draws to help support the work of the service. Since the group was founded 9 years ago, they've raised nearly $300,000. Over 500 trips are made by the RFDS annually to the Steel City. Well, school holidays often leads to kids spending too many hours in front of the TV or the computer or in front of their devices. But Port Lincoln's West Coast Youth has launched its school holiday program, looking for young people to be active and involved in the community for the next 2 weeks.
School's out, but that doesn't mean kids need to stay in. West Coast Youth are imploring young people to be active during their time away from the classroom, launching a free holiday program.
We want to try and get young people out and about and keep them active and keep them engaged in the community rather than just sitting at home watching movies or playing games. Get out and about, mix and mingle with the community.
West Coast Youth is on the front foot in the Port Lincoln community, helping to guide young people to fulfil their potential.
That's what we're all about, empowering young people and giving them the best opportunity and start in life. And at West Coast Year, we pride ourselves on engaging and empowering young people.
The 2-week program will include activities like basketball, cooking and Pokemon hunting, as well as a special screening at the Euphoria Cinema.
Anything that you do that's positive helps, and just like you said, keeping your mind occupied and keeping yourself busy. It always helps in causing risky behaviour.
The team offer youth care all year round, including their street bus on weekends, giving local teens the support to help them out of difficult situations.
Might be stranded, maybe at a friend's party or something like that, and you feel it's not safe to walk home. Give us a buzz and we're happily will come pick you up and make sure that you get home safe.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us after the break. A look at how the weather is panning out for the next couple of days. Turning to the weather now, and much more of what we've seen for the last couple of days today. Fine and sunny conditions across the board. 20 the top in Port Augusta, with 18 today in Whyalla and in Port Pirie. Port Lincoln also 18, and 18 also the top over in Broken Hill. On the national satellite, a thick cloud system is over the state's west as it approaches our region, bringing some showers over the next couple of days. Out on the Gulf waters, the winds to 20 knots and northerly, seas to a metre and southerly. Sunrise at 24 minutes past 7. So looking at tomorrow, a sunny 20 on the way for Port Augusta with 19 for Whyalla and for Port Pirie. Port Lincoln also 19 but with some showers, Broken Hill fine and 17. And then into Thursday we've got showers around, 20 the top in Port Lincoln and in Cleve with 21 for Woodner. Still wet into Friday but a bit cooler. Whyalla with a fine 21 on Thursday but then down to 17 as the showers arrive on Friday. Similar for Port Augusta, 22 then 18 degrees. Kadina showers and 19 to run out the week with 16 degrees later on. Port Pirie with fine conditions, 20 for Thursday, then showers and 17 on Friday. Clare 17, then down to 13. Broken Hill fine and 19 for Thursday and on Friday as well. And that is your local news for this Tuesday evening. Don't forget you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. I'm Tim Hatfield from the team here at Southern Cross News. Have a good evening. Good night.